My name is Andrew Boyd. I'm one of the founders of the Climate Clock, which you can see up here. And we're here with Fridays for the Future, Extinction Rebellion, 350 New York City, and other climate groups. And we've come together because it is Climate Emergency Day today, a very sort of notable day when the Climate Clock, which tracks the remaining time, critical sort of window of time we have to act to stay under 1.5 degrees centigrade of global warming and prevent the worst effects of climate catastrophe. And the clock today is changing. After counting down all year, it is changing from 7 years to 6 years. That'll be happening in 43 minutes left. We have a 7-year window to tackle one of the greatest existential challenges facing humanity ever, which is to transition our economy and society off of fossil fuels and to 100% renewable powered future. So we have, because we can only emit so much carbon before we need to make that transition, we have 7 years. So it is a very important number. We arguably the most important number in the world, and it is changing from 7 years and 0 days to 6 years and 364 days today. And we are marking that moment with a ceremony and a moment of silence that's happening all over the world and here in New York as well, where people will sort of reckon with the reality of climate change and our climate challenge, and then commit themselves to taking meaningful action as an individual and as in a sort of collective with others to make this year and every year count. Because we only have 7 years to make this extraordinary transition. So this is a symbol of hope, a symbol of urgency, a symbol of possibility. But it's a symbol of what we must do, and we must do it fast.
Years in which to get it together, people!
Get it together!
Collective action or collective suicide!
quality of our responsibility, isn't it? We are made of the earth. We were evolved by the earth to be who we are. And we have the gift of a particular human way of looking at things. And we know now in our humility, we understand that there are many kinds of living beings who each has his own consciousness. Amen? Amen. Hallelujah. We have a blessed conscious being right here in the middle of our action, don't we? Hello! Hello! Oh, that pigeon didn't appreciate our performance. Flew away. With this particular consciousness that we have, certain tribes on the earth, certain quote-unquote Western people, we decided to make time a thing that is sequential, made of little boxes that follow one after the other. That's the way we approach our day. Time comes from, well, it got stronger step by step. The Industrial Revolution, etc., etc. Time marches on. It became a marching thing. It became military. It doesn't have to be used just for destruction. We're here together today to turn time around and make it a blessing. In a few minutes, we're going to have 7 years, beyond which the scientists have told us we can count on not having the ability to influence what's happening, and that conscious being that is the whole life here of which we're a part. Bless us as we struggle with turning time into a blessing. Let's do that today. Let's do that today. Yes. Hallelujah.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much to Reverend Billy and to the whole choir for opening up the event with that amazing singing and that amazing speaking. Round of applause. Thank you so much. Beautiful. So we're here today on the inaugural Climate Emergency Day. In about 10 minutes or so, 11 minutes, we'll have less than 7 years to mitigate the worst effects of the climate crisis. Before we get started, I want to invite Boku to do a land acknowledgement for us. Thank you. We're gathered here today on the ancestral, unceded land of the Lenape-Hoking people. On this land, this island that they called Manhattan, which means island in the Lenape language. The Lenape people lived in ways that were harmonious with this land, with water, for hundreds of years, thousands of years, until the invasion of settler colonists some over 600 years ago. Since then, those relationships have been poisoned by greed, by hatred and delusion. It is up to us now to restore those relationships with the Lenape people, with the land that they have stewarded for hundreds of years, with the water. Just wanting to encourage everyone to also remember that land back and reparations are also a way of acknowledging the initial stewards of this land, the Lenape and indigenous peoples across Turtle Island. Thank you. Thank you so much. So today at noon, 10 minutes, we'll officially have less than 7 years. This is our first climate emergency day, and it's hot. I want to say real quick, we have some water by this tree. It's so hot, even if Biden doesn't declare a climate emergency, we know it's a climate emergency. We feel the climate emergency right now, so please drink water if you need it. The climate clock is 2 numbers. The first number is a deadline. It counts down the amount of time we have to take bold action, to embrace the solutions that we need, and demand that global leaders embrace those solutions as well and take action. And it's paired with a lifeline. So we only have a certain amount of time, and we have specific things that we need to accomplish in that time. The first lifeline that was launched in September of 2020 is the percentage of the world's energy from renewables. We're at about 13%. We need to get to 100% in less than 7 years. The second lifeline is the amount of land under Indigenous sovereignty. We know that Indigenous leadership is pivotal in the solutions to the climate crisis, and yet Indigenous leaders are still prevented from access to key negotiations. We demand that access. The third lifeline that we currently have on the clock is the amount of money in the Green Climate Fund. That fund is severely underfilled. It's a mechanism for the global north to pay the debt it owes the global south after centuries of colonization and extraction. Not only does that fund have to have billions more dollars in it, but it has to be made accessible to countries whose infrastructure has made them extremely vulnerable to the effects of the climate crisis, which they're not necessarily responsible for. These two numbers, the deadline and the lifeline, they're our global mission. And together, they're also the planet's vital signs. So this Climate Emergency Day, we are asking that we consider these vital signs of the planet, that we sync up with them right now in a global moment of silence. People around the world will be joining us. There are people in Pennsylvania, California, New Orleans, Nigeria, Ghana, Rome, London, Brazil. There are people all over the world who are taking a moment at this time to observe time slipping away and resolving to take bold climate action. As we embrace and settle into a moment of silence shortly, we will then be led by Fridays for Future activists who will lead us in declaring climate resolutions. They'll ask us, what is at stake and what are we going to do about it? After that point, we will break into a moment to share with our neighbors and then come back and have an open mic where we will publicly declare the action that we want to take in this climate new year to commit our values to the solutions that we need. So as Joe Biden continues to fail to make a declaration, continues to profit from the fossil fuel industry and climate death and destruction, we also declare a climate emergency. We demand that Biden declare a climate emergency. As we near 1.5, as we near that threshold, it's more important than ever that we embrace solutions and take action. Our actions don't become less important as we lose time. They become more important. Are we just going to give up as we get closer to 1.5? No. Are we just going to settle for 2 degrees? No. A colleague of mine sent me an article lately that only about 4% of climate scientists think that it's likely that we'll be able to limit warming to 1.5. Again, that's a very small percentage, and that's why we need to take action more than ever. And that article was written by James Dyke, and he ends the article with a very powerful quote that I'll read now. It's an ode to using silence as a tool to wake up. So again, as we approach the moment, keep these words in mind. The time has come to turn off the alarms, to fully wake up and listen to the silence it creates. This silence is full of possibilities. We cannot wish away decades of slumber, but we can take an unflinching look into our future and now, finally, do the work to shape it. So thanks again for coming out today, for joining us in this moment of silence. As the clock ticks over, you can ask yourselves those questions. What is at stake? And what am I going to do about it? But you can also just take a second to be present in your body, if you wish. You might consider, what does it feel like to be alive in this heat? What does it feel like to be in your body right now? What does it feel like to be in your body as people all over the world are experiencing destruction and chaos? What does it feel like to breathe together in this moment? To hear each other make commitments to each other and to people all over the world. I'm very grateful and honored to share this moment with you. And we have now about 4 minutes left. We will have a Ale on the drum who will count us in. And we can start to come into our bodies and come into this moment as the clock ticks down. You're invited, if you wish, to join in a communal gesture. If you'd like to put your hand over your center of your chest to feel that, or clasp your hands together. There are just different options and ways of being present and with everyone here today. So again, I ask that we breathe, we join the silence. There's chaos all around us, which is apt. But we can take this moment, and I look forward to hearing everyone's resolutions. Thank you for being in community with us right now, today, and in the fight over the next year.
Woo!
Yeah, we're Anna and Amina from Fridays for Future NYC. So, Climate New Year 2022 is an opportunity to strengthen your resolve to protect life on Earth and take a stand against global inequality. Taking action begins with a spark. What do you love too much to lose? What are you going to do about it?
The time to make commitments, hold yourself accountable, and fight for your community is now. What are your climate resolutions?
In the past, you may have been encouraged to recycle, consume ethical products, or shift to a plant-based diet. While these individuals' actions of conservation, if amplified, would account for a 25% decrease in carbon emissions, it is unlikely that enough people will change their daily life to take this viable solution. But the good news is that there are simpler, more engaging, and more impactful climate resolutions to commit to.
This climate year, I will personally commit to writing to my legislators on a weekly basis to remind them of important climate issues.
And this year, I will personally commit to dedicating my education to decolonist philosophy and degrowth communities.
We've been joined by activists around the world, all of whom have pledged to take meaningful climate action in this climate new year. Ghanaian pop star Ochame Kwame says that he will shout out for climate justice until he loses his voice, protect all animals until he loses his strength, and plant more trees until he loses all seeds. Climate Clock fundraising lead Alexa Blanton shared that she wants to commit to using her aptitude for policy advocacy because that is what we desperately need right now.
And now we want to open it up to you. What is at stake for you? What are you going to do about it? Take the next couple of minutes to brainstorm your own resolutions with neighbors around you, and then we'll open the mic for 10 minutes for anyone to share their pledges for this climate new year.
Robert Cronquist from the New York Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, and my resolution is to get New York City to implement Resolution 976 and Introduction 1621 to get New York City to divest its pensions and finances from nuclear weapons production, and to work to end the world of nuclear weapons and to remediate those peoples, particularly indigenous peoples, who have suffered from nuclear weapons development and testing.
One resolution I'll make and I'll keep is using less and less electricity in my daily life. In doing so, if we keep using electricity every day, it'll only consume more to use of climate change, little by little.
Woo! Hi, my name is Jenna, and I'm a 16-year-old climate activist from Westchester County. I'm a member of Sunrise Westchester, which is like a local hub of the Sunrise movement, and we started a campaign to get all municipalities in Westchester to unite their climate action. So our goal is to we have one municipality so far that has agreed to our demands, and our goal is to get to at least 5 municipalities in addition to the one we already have by the end of this year to sign on to our demands and encourage other municipalities in Westchester to do the same. My other resolution is to get the Build Public Renewables Act passed. There's a hearing in the State Assembly next Thursday. Be there or be square. You can submit written comments if you cannot be in Albany on Thursday. But please do. It is necessary that we take direct climate action at all levels of local government, or all levels of government, excuse me. So yes, thank you.
Hi folks, my name is Eric Weltman. I'm a Brooklyn-based organizer with Food and Water Watch, and my resolution is also to help pass the New York Build Public Renewables Act, which would unleash the power of the New York Power Authority to ramp up New York's production of renewable energy. It's a necessary bill to achieve New York's climate goals. And I want to add, in addition to the hearing that's being held next Thursday, there's a rally. There's a rally in support of the Build Public Renewables Act being held next Wednesday at noon at 250 Broadway across from City Hall. So if you're available next Wednesday, please join us in taking action to move New York off fossil fuels.
Hi, my name's Jonathan. I go to Emerson College, and I also organize with North New Jersey DSA. And my climate resolution is to occupy my college until they end fossil fuels. Sorry, I'm not first time. We're occupying our colleges to, honestly, just to demand that they end fossil fuels, take climate action. We need to take direct action now. Protesting is good, raising awareness is good, but we need to take action, and we need to actually have these, give these people in power who are continuing to use fossil fuels and make our planet burn, give them consequences for their actions. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone. My name is Mink. I'm a public school teacher, so I'm also known as Mr. Chung. Thank you. I teach at PS20 Clinton Hill, Brooklyn, and I'm very fortunate that I teach 500 students every week. So my climate resolution is I'm gonna tackle on this problem of food waste in public schools. I don't know if you know, if you've ever walked past a public school, every day, every afternoon, have you seen mountains of trash and piles every day of food waste? And it is criminal. I'm telling you, it is criminal. It is supported by these billion-dollar contracts. And we all know it's not good. We all know it's wrong. We all know there's a problem there. But I'm going to be loud as fuck about it. Okay? I don't care. I'm going to make a stink to my principal, to my supervisor, to my superintendent, to the chancellor, to the mayor. I'm going to say this is bullshit. Cut out these single-use plastics. Cut out this food waste. Let's do something about this problem. Let's reuse renewables. Let's do something. Let's take some action. My name's Mr. Chung. I'm a public school teacher at PS20. You'll hear about me.
My name is Avery Tsai, and my climate resolution is that I will make more connections. Friends in Sunrise, Fridays for Future, 350.org, everyone, and NYCC, so we can work together to make the climate emergency movement grow. Another world is possible.
My name is Monica. I'm a full-time climate activist since retiring from teaching 11 years ago. I have 2 beautiful grandchildren, and I shudder to think in 7 years what they'll be facing. My resolution this year is to work tirelessly to get the mainstream media outlets to report on climate change, talk about it every single day, properly connecting causes with consequences and solutions. I don't see any networks talking about solutions, and I want to give a special shout out to New York One for their daily climate check, and their team rocks. Every network needs to do what New York One is doing, and thank you. Look who's here today. That's because they care. Thank you.
You beautiful people. My name is Elizabeth Payne, and my climate resolution this year is to step out of my comfort zone. I have a very strong voice, and I'm not using it. This year was a catastrophic year for my family. We lost my 52-year-old beautiful sister, who's the mother of 3. In honor of her life, I'm going to continue to do my climate activism and my push for social justice, because it is intersectional. And I am going to talk to the moms. I don't talk to the moms enough. In my sphere of influence, I stay very comfortable. I come out, I do things with XR, Sunrise, but this year is going to be the year I'm going to get arrested. I'm going to push, and I'm going to get others uncomfortable around me.